My name is Lucas. I'm 18 years old, or I was. I live just outside of Columbus, Ohio. Senior year, about to graduate, I had a part-time job at a tire shop, a used car that barely ran, and big dreams of moving out and making music. Not gospel music, not worship. I was into the real stuff. Dark beats, deep bass, lyrics that made your chest rattle. Rap, trap, experimental. The louder, the better. Music wasn't just a hobby for me, it was like air. If I was angry, I wrote bars. If I was bored, I made beats. If I was lost, I'd blast something that matched the chaos in my head. My parents are Christians, old school kind. My mom prays before every meal. My dad still listens to old worship tapes from the 90s. They warned me about the music I was into. Lucas, pay attention to the lyrics, you're feeding your spirit. But I didn't listen. Honestly, I didn't want to. Relax, Dad, it's just music. But it wasn't. I just didn't know it yet. Something started shifting in me over the past year. I got more distant, more cold. I stopped going to youth group, stopped praying, stopped feeling anything. When I heard the name Jesus, it's like my heart had gone numb. I couldn't focus, couldn't sleep, had dreams I couldn't explain, dark stuff. Voices in my head, whispering things I didn't want to admit. I thought maybe it was just stress, or trauma, or being 18. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. Music was always playing, at school, at work, in the shower, in bed. It was like I couldn't be in silence anymore. Silence made me anxious, so I drowned it with noise. My playlists were filled with rage, lust, violence, rebellion, and I called it vibe. Looking back, I think I was letting something in, but I didn't realize it until it was too late. It was a Thursday, storm coming, sky dark. I had just gotten off work. Rain started pouring. I jumped into my car, turned the ignition, plugged in my phone, hit play. Bass dropped, volume up, wipers on, seatbelt off, and that's when it happened. The crash. I never saw the other car, didn't hear the tires, didn't feel the impact. Just one final beat, and then silence. They say your life flashes before your eyes, but mine didn't. There was no flash, no memory reel, just a sudden silence. It happened so fast. I had just pulled out of the gas station, rain pouring down, one hand on the wheel, the other tapping the screen to skip to my favorite track. The bass dropped hard. I leaned back, nodding with the beat, not noticing that I had drifted past the stop sign. The next part I don't remember, but they told my mum later that the truck had the right of way, that he tried to swerve, that he hit the brakes, but I never saw it coming. All I remember is the sound disappearing. Not the music, everything. No rain, no tires, no metal, just darkness and quiet. And then I was somewhere else. I didn't feel pain, no screaming, no glass, no fire, just this weird floating sensation, like being underwater, except weightless. I opened my eyes. At least I think I did. But what I saw didn't make sense. I was above the crash, looking down, like I was watching it from a drone or something. There was my car, twisted, mangled, steam rising from the hood, and inside, me. I saw my body slumped over the wheel, eyes shut, chest not moving, people running from a nearby parking lot, phones dialing, panic in their voices, but I couldn't hear any of it. It was like watching the world on mute. I tried to scream, to call for help, but I had no voice, no mouth, no body. It was the most terrifying peace I'd ever felt, like I didn't belong in that world anymore. But I wasn't sure where I was supposed to go. Then something shifted. I started rising, not up into the sky, not into clouds, into stillness. The further I went, the more the colors faded. The noise of the world disappeared. The anxiety I carried like a second skin. But what replaced it was something I can only describe as truth, a heavy, holy silence. And in that silence, I knew something, or someone, was coming. I didn't know it yet, but I was about to come face to face with Jesus, and he wasn't about to show me heaven. Not yet. He was going to show me what was behind the music I thought I loved. I kept floating, but it wasn't like floating through space. It was like floating through reality itself, as if I had been pulled out of time. Everything around me turned gray, not sad, not dark, just still, like a fog that wasn't fog, like silence that had weight. I didn't feel lost, I didn't feel afraid. I felt exposed, like everything I had ever hidden, every thought, every secret, every habit, was now wide open. And yet, no one was accusing me, no one was yelling, no one was condemning, but I knew something holy was near. The fog began to shift, and I saw things, shapes. At first, I thought they were just shadows, but then I realized they were souls, other people, some just like me, floating, silent, still. Some were rising, some were stuck, some were surrounded by darkness. I can't even begin to describe. It wasn't fire, it wasn't screaming, it was worse, it was emptiness, and I felt something pulling me, but not in fear. It was like something was calling my name without saying it. Then I felt it, light, not a spotlight, not sunlight, but a living light, warm, weighty, peaceful. It didn't blind me, it comforted me. I turned toward it, and suddenly, I wasn't floating anymore. I was standing, no longer above the accident, no longer in the fog. I was in what felt like a place between worlds, like a spiritual waiting room. Everything around me moved, but slowly, like it was made of memory and music, and that's when I saw him. At first, I didn't know who he was, but I felt him before I recognized him. The weight of his presence, the way everything around him bowed without words, the way every part of me trembled, not from fear, but from the overwhelming sense that he knew me. Every thought, every sin, every lyric I had memorized, every website I visited at night, every prayer I had ignored. And still, his eyes didn't condemn. They saw me, all of me, and loved me. He didn't say his name. He didn't have to. It was Jesus, and he looked at me like I was the only person in existence, not because I was important, but because he is love. And when he finally spoke, not with a voice but from within my very being, he said, "Lucas, you've let music lead your soul. Now I'll show you where it's been leading you." I didn't move. I couldn't. I just stood there, in front of him. Jesus. He didn't look like the paintings. No white robe glowing in sunlight, no soft expression or gentle halo. He looked like truth, like fire and mercy wrapped in skin. His eyes weren't just eyes, they were mirrors. They showed me who I had become, and who I was meant to be. I wanted to fall to the ground, to cover my face, to hide, but there was no hiding here. Jesus stepped closer, not with feet, but with presence, like he filled every part of that space. He didn't speak with words, yet I heard him more clearly than any song I'd ever played. "Lucas, you were created for my voice, but you chose another frequency." Tears rolled down my face, or something like tears. I didn't have a body, but I was crying from somewhere deep, my spirit, maybe. He raised his hand, and in an instant I saw it all. My life, like flashes, moments, scenes, each one tied to a song I had listened to. The lyrics, the beats, the music videos, the artists I idolized. But this time, I saw what was behind them, behind the fame, behind the sound, behind the words I had sung without even thinking. Demons, not as horror movie monsters, not in shadows or cloaks, but as influences, as whisperers, as entities of seduction, rage, lust, pride and rebellion, hiding behind every catchy chorus, every viral beat. Jesus showed me how certain songs I loved had been coded with darkness, how the beat carried spiritual weight, how the repetition of lyrics became declarations over my life, how I had unknowingly opened doors to spirits that hated me and were laughing while I thought I was being real. He showed me one particular night. I had just finished producing a track. It was raw, aggressive, and full of ego. I felt powerful, but in the spirit, I was being used. Demons were around me, feeding off the energy I was pouring out, twisting the words, drawing in others through my music to lead them down the same path of numbness. And I saw others, kids, teens, even little children, consuming the same music, watching the same videos, their spirits slowly becoming desensitized, infected, not instantly, not dramatically, but gradually, quietly, like poison with flavor. Jesus turned to me, his voice thundered, yet didn't shake me. You think music is just sound, but it is spirit. He showed me heaven, and I heard music that I can't describe. Not notes, not melodies, frequencies, colors that sang, waves that healed. And then he showed me the music of earth, what I had filled my mind and soul with. And I wept, because I realized I had traded the music of heaven for the noise of hell. But Jesus didn't leave me in shame. He reached out his hand, and when he touched me, not my body but my being, I felt the most overwhelming sensation I've ever known. Love, not tolerance, not pity. Love that knew everything about me, and still chose me. He said, "Lucas, I called you to be a voice, not an echo. It's not too late, but you must warn them." Jesus looked at me, and suddenly the entire space around us changed. We were no Maz in the place of light. We were in a city, but not one I'd ever seen. It looked like every major city at once. New York, Los Angeles, London, neon lights, towering screens, music blasting from every corner, and it was alive, but not with life, with noise. Everywhere I looked, there were people, walking fast, heads down, earbuds in, some nodding their heads, some dancing in clubs, some crying in their rooms, some making videos, mouths moving in sync with lyrics, all of them plugged in, all of them consuming. Jesus said, "This is the system," and he showed me something I'll never forget. Above the city there were spirits, high-ranking, powerful, intelligent. They weren't just demons. They were architects of sound. They moved like conductors of an invisible orchestra, releasing beats, hooks, phrases into the air, and people below picked them up, like spiritual antennas. I saw producers in studios, heads bobbing, thinking they were creating from inspiration. But what they were receiving were assignments. Assignments to spread lust, to stir rebellion, to glorify violence, to mock God, to numb the soul, to reprogram identity. The music wasn't just influencing feelings, it was rewiring minds, creating beliefs, opening spiritual doors. Jesus showed me how the spiritual realm responds to sound. Some frequencies call angels, others call demons, and the music that dominated this city, most of it called demons, not because of how it sounded, but because of what it invited, the words, the intent, the heart behind it. Jesus pointed toward a massive stage where a concert was taking place. The crowd was huge, everyone jumping, shouting, phones in the air. I looked closer, and I saw chains, spiritual chains on their wrists, chains made of addiction, of anxiety, of lust, of depression, and every beat, every drop of bass, was tightening those chains, and still they cheered, because the chains were disguised as vibes, as expression, as freedom. I asked Jesus, "Why don't they see it?" He answered, "Because they stopped listening with their spirit. Now they only feel with their flesh." He then showed me how children were being targeted, how platforms were pushing sounds with spells. Yes, literal spells, embedded in repetition. Words that seem harmless but in the spirit become legal access for darkness. He showed me one boy, just 9 years old, singing along to a viral challenge on a short-form video app. What he didn't know, what I didn't know, was that the lyrics were once part of a ritual chant used in ancient spiritual sacrifice, now repackaged in a trap beat. Jesus said, "They've learned how to cloak poison in rhythm," and I broke. Because I had shared these songs, I had added to the stream. I had danced to the drum of demons without even knowing. But Jesus didn't accuse. He showed me something else. A remnant, young people who were starting to wake up, who were deleting playlists, who were writing music with heaven's breath behind it, who were choosing silence over compromise. And he looked at me again. "Lucas, music is not neutral. It is either a gate to my presence, or a gate to the enemy." He placed his hand on my shoulder and said one final thing before everything faded. "You were called to sound the alarm. Now, return. And just like that, everything faded. The city, but the demons, the music, even the presence of Jesus, didn't leave me. It was as if he was sending me back. I felt myself being pulled, not falling, but drawn downward, like gravity reclaiming something that had gone too high. The light dimmed, the weight of the spirit lifted, and the silence was replaced by a beeping. Then, voices, sharp, urgent, human. He's back. Pulse is stabilizing. Lucas, can you hear me? Stay with us. My eyes fluttered. Everything burned. It was like crashing into a body made of pain and pressure. I gasped. Air filled my lungs like fire. Every nerve screamed. But I was alive. I had returned. Doctors were moving fast around me. Machines beeping. My chest ached. My head spun. They said I had been clinically dead for 7 minutes. No heartbeat, no brain activity, no sign of life. And yet, I had been more alive in those 7 minutes than I had ever been on Earth. I wanted to speak, but I couldn't. My body was slow, heavy, like trying to move through thick mud. But my mind, my spirit was blazing. I remembered everything. The music, the demons, the chains, Jesus. His voice echoed inside me like thunder wrapped in light. You were called to sound the alarm. I lay in that hospital bed for days, machines monitoring me, family coming and going, nurses checking vitals. But I wasn't thinking about medicine. I was thinking about the battle, about how close I had been, to never coming back, to staying in that spiritual realm, without ever warning the world about what I saw. My mom sat by my side. She held my hand. I whispered, I saw him. She looked at me confused. Who, honey? And with tears in my eyes, I said, Jesus, he's real. And he showed me the truth. She broke down crying. Something in her spirit knew. I tried telling my friends. Some rolled their eyes. Some laughed. Some just stared, frozen. But a few stayed quiet. And I could see it in their faces. They felt it too. Something deeper. Something terrifying. And maybe something beautiful. After I was discharged, the first thing I did was go home, open my laptop, and pull up all my music files, hundreds of songs, beats, lyrics, unreleased tracks, and I started deleting, one by one. Click, gone. Click, gone. It felt like cutting chains from my soul, like smashing idols I didn't know I worshipped, because I understood now. This wasn't just about taste in music, it was about life and death, light and darkness, truth and deception. Jesus had shown me, and I couldn't pretend I didn't see it. I was back in my body, but I wasn't the same, and I knew this was just the beginning. If you made it this far, what this message is for you. I didn't come back just to live a normal life again. I didn't come back to go viral, to get attention, or to scare anyone. I came back because Jesus asked me to speak, and if you're listening, it's not an accident. There's a war happening right now, and most people don't even see it. They think it's just music, just trends, just entertainment. But I saw the truth. There are spirits behind the sound. Not every beat is innocent. Not every lyric is just art. Some of it is designed to open your soul to darkness, slowly, silently, strategically. And you feel it, don't you? You've listened to certain songs and suddenly felt sad, or angry, or numb, or lustful. That's not just mood, that's spiritual influence. We live in a world where playlists are more powerful than preachers, where kids memorize lyrics faster than scripture, where people let their headphones disciple them more than the word of God. But here's the truth. Your soul has ears, and whatever you feed it is what will grow. If you keep singing about death, don't be surprised when hope disappears. If you keep dancing to lust, don't be shocked when purity fades. If you keep chanting rebellion, don't wonder why your spirit feels lost and empty. Jesus isn't asking you to become religious. He's inviting you to wake up, to take back your mind, to close the doors you didn't know you had opened, to silence the frequencies that are stealing your peace. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning, still healing. But since I came back, I made a decision. If a song doesn't bring light, I won't listen. If a beat carries darkness, I shut it off. If a lyric speaks death, I speak life instead. You don't have to become a monk. You don't have to burn your phone, but you do have to choose. Because neutrality is an illusion. Silence is still agreement, and whatever you allow in has permission to stay. So I ask you, what are you letting shape your soul? The enemy doesn't need to possess you if he can distract you. He doesn't need to drag you to hell if he can lull you to sleep with a beat. And the most dangerous prison is the one that looks like freedom. Jesus is calling you, not through lightning, not through thunder, but through this moment. This video is your invitation to delete the poison, to listen with your spirit, to protect your soul, to worship with your life, not just your voice. I died, I saw him, he showed me the war, and now I'm showing you. Don't ignore it, because the next song you play might not just get stuck in your head, it might stick to your soul. Choose light, choose truth, choose Jesus. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs a spiritual awakening. Subscribe to Jesus Me Showed for more real testimonies that reveal what's hidden from the world. Turn on the bell. The next video might be the answer you or someone you love has been waiting for. Jesus is still speaking. Are you listening?